Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about 5 ways to identify narcissists and 5 ways to deal with them. So if you ever had a weird feeling around a person where you're just like, I don't know, something's off about them, follow that gut feeling, okay? We've all dealt with narcissists, and sometimes we don't realize that they're narcissists until it's too late. So this is how I've personally dealt with alleged narcissists in my life and how I was able to escape them. So the first sign to identify a narcissist is they are never wrong. They can never take accountability for something. So that's the first sign. So if you are trying to confront someone, let's say a friend did something to you that made you feel bad or that really bothered you, and you're trying to communicate that to them like an adult, and they're like, no, I didn't do that, or they're just in denial about what they did, or they try to twist it in a certain way that justifies that what they did was okay, never really acknowledging that they did something wrong or acknowledging that they hurt you, that is your first sign. The second sign is that they play the victim. So if you are, again, trying to talk to someone about how they treated you or what they said to you, and they try to justify it like, oh, well, I've just been having a really rough time, or, oh, my mental health, blah, blah. It's like, not to say that mental health isn't a factor, but it's not an excuse. Your mental health, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you have, does not give you permission to treat people like shit. So if they play the victim because you should just let them get away with whatever they did because they're having a bad day, because they're having a bad life, because what they're going through is more significant than what they did to you. Those two things are independent of each other. Whatever you're going through is whatever you're going through. And how you made me feel is a whole separate occasion. And you can't acknowledge that because you're over here dealing with whatever you're dealing with, right? So they play the victim. Number 3. This one is a little bit harder because, again, I'm not diagnosing anyone and I'm not trying to say that there is a correct way to identify this. But, if you have enough interactions with someone, it's a pattern of behavior that you can start to identify. So the third one is that they are dissociative. They dissociate from reality. They live in their own curated world and can't look at the facts. And this also ties in with delusions of grandeur. A lot of narcissists have delusions of grandeur. They think that people are out to get them. They're really paranoid. They think that everything's about them. They always think that you're trying to take something from them. They think that your strength has something to do with their strength, or that your personality or that your good qualities has something to do with their qualities. And it's just not true. If they can't identify facts as facts, and they just try to manipulate the entire situation, or they try to manipulate other people to believe what they believe or to see what they see, it's not a good look. Bottom line, they just can't handle the facts. They just ignore the facts because it's too much for them. It's like a constant state of denial. So if someone's constantly denying something, whether it's about them or about the situation, it's a very dissociative quality and it's not healthy, okay? The fourth one is that, to tie into the last one, they manipulate. So they can manipulate a certain situation to try to justify how they've treated you or the things that they say, and they might also try to gaslight you. Narcissists love to gaslight people. They always try to flip it and make it your fault. It's like, well, you made me do this, or you made me feel this way. Or they try to hold things over your head. It's like, well, I did this for you in the past, so you should, succumb to my every will. Or they'll say things like, well, if you really cared about me, if you really loved me, you wouldn't bring that up again. Or you wouldn't, or like, you should know better than to treat me like this. And it's just very manipulative, very gross. If someone, like, it's 2020, okay? Gaslighting is, everyone should be able to identify gaslighting at this point. And if you can't, it's when someone says something or does something and then you confront them about it and they're like, no, I never did that. It's denial. It's just gaslighting is denial. So if they're not acknowledging the way that you're feeling, or they're not validating whatever it is that you're feeling, it's because they know that they did something wrong, but they are trying to weasel their way out of it. The fifth one is, it's another way of being fake. They emulate empathy while never actually showing empathy. So narcissists usually need an audience, right? They need other people, they need yes people to validate whatever it is that they're trying to pull. So in front of you, they might be rude and brash, and they might gaslight you and things like that. But in front of other people, people that they know that they can easily manipulate or that they will be able to take their side, they're going to show this face of, I'm so empathetic, I'm so caring, I'm so loving, and it's a show. It's a show. I'm sure you can tell when someone's being fake. So, they emulate empathy while never actually practicing it. They only practice it when they have an audience. Narcissists need an audience in order to feel validated. Okay, so now that those are 5 signs of how you can identify narcissists, I'm going to go over 5 ways to deal with them. The first is to confront them, not in like a aggressive way, but just acknowledge the fact that you are aware of their behavior. So this is the first go around, okay? It's like one and done kind of a thing. If they keep pulling their shit after this, we'll go into the next ones. But the first one is to confront them and just be like, hey, like, is something wrong? Did I do something to upset you? Like, why are you treating me this way? Because often they are so manipulative, they don't know how to handle a face-to-face adult conversation of like, hey, like, what's wrong? Because sometime in their past, when they tried to express themselves, it wasn't validated by whoever, maybe a parent, maybe, anyone. So they feel as though in a conversation with you, when you're trying to confront them, you won't hear them. So then they try to manipulate the situation. Straightforwardness is something that a narcissist is not used to. It's something that they don't operate from. So if you're just straightforward from the get, they'll be like, oh, well, like, I can't mess with this person. I'm going to have to find a different way to mess with them because this person is just going to tell me like it is. So the first thing is to look them in the eye and be like, hey, what's wrong? They can't handle that. The second one is to gray rock them. So if you don't know what gray rocking means, it's to interact very minimally with a narcissist. They tend to feed off of drama. They need people to feed into whatever chaos that they're brewing up. So if they try to lure you into saying something, or if they're trying to manipulate you into talking about someone else behind their back, just be like, oh, no, just answer very minimally. It's like, oh, hey, like, what are your opinions on this person? You'd be like, they're fine. It's like, oh, well, like, didn't they do this to you? Like, how does that make you feel? And you're just like, I don't feel anything. And you continue to give them short answers that don't feed into their drama, because then they're going to get bored. Narcissists are bored, and they need to create chaos in order to feel like they have control over something in their lives. So if you don't feed into that and you are just boring by not feeding into the drama, then they're going to go somewhere else for their supply. Number 3 is similar to gray rocking, but a little bit more positive. Whereas gray rocking is just a neutral, like, I'm not going to participate. Killing them with kindness is really going to make them confused, because if you're super duper nice to them, then it won't make sense if they talk to other people about you behind your back, because it's not going to be true. But again, they're dissociative, so they don't deal with the facts. They deal with whatever they want to see. So if you kill the narcissist with kindness, then again, it's going to make them bored and it's going to make them confused. And it's a little funny to watch, to be honest. So kill them with kindness. If you're kind, then there's no drama. Even if like it feels fake or whatever, it's like you can be cordial with someone and it not be fake. You can try to just have a very neutral relationship with them and it's not fake. It's just you don't feed into the drama and you don't feed into the negativity. So killing them with kindness is always a good tactic. The fourth is don't try to reason with them, because it's going to take more energy and more effort on your part than theirs. If you try to reason with them and be like, hey, like, you really hurt my feelings with this, can we come to this conclusion? Or you try to explain to them that what they did was wrong. If a narcissist hears that they're wrong, they're going to immediately be on the defense, and they're immediately going to try to flip it and do many of the other tactics that we talked about earlier. So confront them once, like back to number 1, confront them once, just so then they know that you have a boundary set up. But if they continue to do it, I would not continue to confront them, and I would not continue to try to reason with them, because that's what they want. They want a reaction. They want a negative reaction from you. So if they know that they're bothering you and you try to work it out with them, they're just going to feed off of it, and they're going to be smug about it, and they're going to think that they pulled one over on you when they really didn't. It's just, this is an adult conversation that we're trying to have here, but they're not capable of doing that. So don't waste your energy, because they're going to go out of their way to not listen to you. Now, if none of these things work and you are capable of leaving the situation, my fifth and final advice to you would be cut them out. The other techniques are more so for people who have to deal with these people in their everyday lives. Say it's like a coworker or it's a friend that you see all the time, but you don't have to stay in a situation that makes you uncomfortable. So if this is a long-term friend of yours, you are allowed to leave them. You're allowed to cut them out, especially if it's a behavioral pattern and they are continuously hurting you and they continuously don't care. It's not going to end, and you're just always going to be the one that has to be the nurturer or the one that babies them or the one that goes, oh no, it's okay. And it's just not going to change. So if you can find yourself in a situation where you can leave. Cut them out. Block them from your life. Block their number. Block their social media. Don't allow them to have access to you, okay? Because that's exactly what they want. And, eventually they're going to move on and fuck with someone else. But yeah, the best thing that you can do is, I would say, carry around like grounding stones or protection stones. I would meditate every morning so then you can ground yourself in your own power. Because again, your power doesn't mean that you're taking away from someone else's, right? So you shouldn't feel the need to dim down yourself or dim your light to make other people feel comfortable. If they have a problem with how confident you are, if they have a problem with how you carry yourself, that's on them. You don't need to change yourself, okay? All right, so that was my personal way of identifying narcissists and my personal way of dealing with narcissists. Hopefully this helps you out. 2020, we are not here for that, okay? No narcissists allowed. I hope this helped. See you guys later.